Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Do me a huge favor. You see this right here? Let us know that you are here. If you've never joined us for a Mentor Monday, they can all tell you, everybody can tell you, this will not be a waste of your time. We never say that we are going to do something and not do it. One of our big commitments at Life Coach Training Institute is actually our mission statement, which is proficient coaches, thriving practices. It's a four-word mission statement. So everything that we do on a Monday night is to one of those ends. Next week, we're actually starting a new series that is going to be all about coaching proficiency, specifically for people who deal with perfectionism. That's what next series is going to be. But we're finishing up this series, which is all about helping you get clients. Matter of fact, getting your first client in your first 30 days. And so we've spent 4 weeks now. This is the fourth week, and we're finishing up tonight. And so everything that we've been doing on this end has been about building a thriving coaching practice. So do me a huge favor, jump inside the chat right now. Let us know that you are here. Tell us where you are joining us from. Tell us what you're excited about, that you feel life and momentum on. There's Stephen joining us from Ontario, Canada. And also do me another huge favor. You guys know that we don't waste your time. Take 1 second, hit like on this post. It'll only take you like a fraction of a second. It's like literally just hit like, whether you're on Facebook or on YouTube. That does us a huge favor because it tells YouTube and Facebook that we are doing a good job. There's Americo. Good to see you, Americo. Keep those comments coming in. As I said, let us know that you are here. Tell us where you're joining us from. Hopefully, you guys have been putting into practice some of the things that we have been giving you over the last few weeks. We talked about in the first week what it takes, where you start in finding your ideal client, which is building your own network and then moving on from there. Oh, yeah, by the way, happy St. Patrick's Day. I am wearing green. I had a couple of other green shirts that I was looking at, but they were very wrinkled. So we went with this one. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. I usually don't make a big deal about any kind of holiday. Maybe this was actually more coincidence than about anything else. Stephen joining us from Arkansas, and Americo is joining us from Richmond, Virginia, coaching husbands. Very good. Keep those comments going in. Let us know that you are here. Jump into the comments, say hello, tell us where you're joining us from. Also, any questions, any comments about this series or about any of the things tonight that we are talking about, throw those in there and do us a huge favor as well. Like and share this post. Promise you, we're not going to waste your time. We're going to finish this series very strong. Yvette joining us from, I actually pronounced that Y, didn't I? Yvette from Oregon. Oh, come on, Paul. All right. Well, keep those comments coming in. Sam, I just did the course on Saturday, finishing my assignments tonight. I'm in Sanford, North Carolina. Way to go. Oh, yeah. We got another St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully, you guys are wearing green. I mean, it's interesting how it all came together because our slides are green and white. And yeah, whatever. Esther's joining us from Atlanta. Good to see you. All right. Well, we'll keep those comments coming in. And okay, let me see this. Kim's joining us from Chicago. Good to see you, Kim. We'll keep those comments and stuff coming in. Let us know that you are here. And we are going to, with no other delays, we are going to jump in. So, we are in our fourth and final week about how to get your first coaching client. Now, what we did in week one, and I'm going to recap it for you because I want you to go back in time if you missed this. In week one, we talked about how to start off. Where do you start in terms of finding your ideal client? And a big part of that is going to be actually choosing what your niche is, who your who is, that person that has a problem that you're going to have a solution in your coaching for, right? But it starts there. And what we did, and that's why I would encourage you to go back. In week one, I literally showed you how to write that intro letter, that welcome letter, that initial post, wherever you put it. I showed you how to write that, the things that you need to include. And you can go back in time and not only get those slides, but you can also look at how I compose that. And you can just take that idea and you can apply it to what you're doing. That way, you've got basically a template to go from, and you know how to start and you know how to do it effectively. From there, we talked about creating offers that we essentially need 4 yeses to get to our ultimate VIP yes. That means that we get people to say yes to something that is free, all the way to something that might be, involves some money, but it's lower risk, all the way up to our biggest yes, which is our VIP offer. You can go back in time and look at that. Last week, we talked about how to sell without being salesy, and we talked about some of those things. This week, we're talking about how do you essentially handle objections. Because one thing that I'll tell you is that most every coach that I have ever met over the last 20 years has been so terrified of failure and so terrified of about that word no. And a lot of times it'll stop coaches in their tracks because they're like, well, I don't really want to put myself out there and get rejected, and you know what, there's a lot that I could do around that to help you through different mindsets and belief systems and everything else. But what if I was able to show you a strategy and show you how to go about a process with ideal clients that would actually preempt any kind of a no in the future? And or at least that there wouldn't be an ultimate no, maybe a not ready, but not a no. What if I could show you that? Well, I'm going to try to actually show you that tonight. What I'm going to do really quick, because I hadn't initially planned to do this, but I think it'll be really really helpful to give you kind of a picture. And I'm going to grab one of my I don't want that. I think I'm going to grab these slides. And this one slide, or this one whiteboard, is something that I show our coaches, at least part of it, how when we wrap up our coaching from the end of, there it is right there, how we wrap up our coaching weekend whenever we go through training. So let me see if I can just grab this really quick and put it up for you so that you can kind of understand what we're doing here. A VIP client, if I had a VIP client, and let's say that VIP client, I'm charging them $200 a session to work with me. And some of you would be like, okay, that seems like a big gap to go from all the way over here to go here. And that would essentially be going from 0 to 10. That sounds like a really, really big gap. And you know what I would tell you? I would absolutely agree with you. That really is a big gap. This is why, when I was showing you 2 weeks ago, that you have a free offer where you exchange contact information for something that's free, and then you go from that to maybe something that is a cheap offer that is low risk, to something that is kind of like maybe medium, to something that is a little bit higher priced, to what your VIP is going to be down here. Because if I go with free, you know what happens with free? That's a lot easier jump. I'm not expecting somebody to join my email list necessarily immediately sign up. But you know what? If somebody did something that was like a $27 course that I had set up online, but it didn't require live coaching from me or whatever, you know what happens is that in each one of these stages, what we're trying to do is we're trying to build rapport. We've got to build trust. We've got to build likability with the client, and they need to believe in our expertise. They need to see something in us that makes them believe that they can get a solution from working with us. And what can happen with any of these things is that it can move them up. If this is a scale of 0 to 10, and we had like 2, 4, 6, 8, and then ultimately 10, you know what happens with a cheap or a low cost offer? It might be enough to move them to 10. Or it might move them up to something that is more like a group coaching program or something That's like $47 a week. And you make money off of all of these things, but what they do is they do these things. They build trust, likability, expertise, and they help people get ready for the commitment that it takes to get to VIP. So that's what that thing was. So knowing this, knowing that that's what our free and low cost offers and all of that other stuff that we showed you a couple of weeks ago, that's what we're doing, is that we're trying to nurture a relationship. Now, the whole time all of this stuff is going, that builds them from moving from zero, no relationship. I have to do things to nurture a relationship with them. So if I put them in my email list, if they follow me on social media, if they see me speaking somewhere or whatever, I post videos on YouTube or whatever, all of those things that I'm doing nurture a relationship with them. And that as I nurture a relationship with them, it builds trust, likability, and they see my expertise. And then when with that rapport built, then that's when they become a client. Now, here's the other part of it. What do I do when I'm emailing them? What am I making videos about? What am I making a free course about? All of that other stuff. You know what I'm doing about? Oh yeah. By the way, text the word slides to 833-258-7547 really quick. Because if you have not gotten the slides, you'll want these, because I'm going to give you a bunch of questions that you're going to need to ask to come up with this, to come up with what we're showing you to reduce the no's or eliminate the no's. Slides to 833-258-7547. Okay, here we go. Now, you got to do your homework on your ideal client. When you do your homework on your ideal client, what we're working on tonight, every time you communicate with your ideal client, you should be talking about the things that we're talking about tonight that you're going to come up with the homework that you've done. You need to talk about things that matters to who your ideal client is, that speaks to their problem, that speaks to who they are. And what happens as you talk about it and as you relate to them in that way, you build rapport, because you emerge as someone that is trustworthy. You emerge as someone who has a solution for what is bothering them. You emerge as someone who has expertise about what it is that they actually want. So when I say do your homework, what I'm really saying is that before you can effectively handle any objections, when I say objections, we should be able to eliminate the no's. I'll say that again. If you do things right through your email strategy, through your social media posts, through your videos, through your website and everything else, if you do things right here and you develop a relationship with them like I'm talking about, then you should have very few no's on this other end. You know why? Because you've answered every one of those things ahead of time. Before we ever have a conversation, they should already know what this is for. What problems does it solve? If I buy this, what do I get? Because you know why? Because I've been speaking about it in everything that I post and in everything that I write. So most objections, believe it or not, are not about money, aren't just about money or timing. You know what they're rooted in? They're rooted in your ideal client's fears, struggles, and their past experiences. And so the first step in handling any objections isn't just responding to them. That's a very bad place to start. It's a very bad place to start with somebody emailing you and saying, how much do you cost them? Can you guarantee what? And they don't even know who you are. See, if you handled this stuff on the front end through your website, through your social media, through your email list and everything else, people are not going to blindly be emailing you and asking you questions. What you're going to do is you're going to preempt all of those questions and all of those concerns and all of those disappointments and all of their past experiences that are keeping them from moving forward. So what we're going to do then is that we're going to start out by going into what their deepest pain is. And when I say deepest pain, I'm not talking about therapy and trauma. I'm talking about what is the thing that that they want to change. What is the thing that is frustrating them? What's the thing that keeps them up at night? If you want to move people towards a yes, you have to get inside their head and understand what's keeping them stuck. So this is something, the first place that you start is that you need to do your homework on what their deepest pain is. For one, if you know that, this is the thing, that deep pain is what's going to get them to pay the price for coaching, because it's too painful to be over here. And I'm going to see the value in what you offer, and the cost to work with you. It is not as much as the pain of staying and not doing anything about it. So I want to give you a couple of things to look at. Here's some questions. And again, if you download the slides, you get all these questions. What is their biggest problem that keeps them up at night? If you don't know what that is, it's going to be really hard for you to sell coaching to them. If you haven't done your homework on your ideal client, you need to figure out who your ideal client is. And the only reason why people will buy coaching is because they have a problem they want to solve, not because they want to live their best life. So, first question that you've got to answer is, what is their biggest problem that keeps them up at night? Two, what's the thing that they never admit out loud, but they think about constantly? What are people obsessing over right now? What are people thinking about that's just occupying their thoughts, their mind, their heart, all of those other things that's distracting them? What do they believe about themselves that's stopping them from taking action? You know what these questions are going to do? They're going to reveal the objection that's keeping them from working with a coach right now. They're going to reveal the objection that would keep them from working with you. So if you can answer that on the front end, you know what you did? You took their no away. It's really important to take their no away. If they could snap their fingers and fix one thing in their life, business, health, whatever, what would it be? Now, let me give you some examples of what that might look like. If it was a business coach, they might say, their deepest pain is, I've tried everything, but I still can't get consistent clients. Maybe that's what the major deepest pain for a particular business coach might be. Or let's say it's a working mom coach, and they said, well, their deepest pain is, I feel like I'm failing at everything: work, parenting, and taking care of myself. We need to talk about that pain consistently, over and over again. If it was a health coach, maybe it was maybe their ideal client says, well, I know what I should do, but I never stick to it. So if we know what their deepest pain is, what we do in our messaging is that we speak to these pain points. And there might be a number of them that all kind of fall under an umbrella. You start speaking to these pain points before your ideal clients even voice them. That's how you begin to build trust early, so that by the time they are actually considering working with you, they already believe that you understand them. When you communicate in this way, you are building rapport, you are building trust, and they feel like you know them before you've ever talked to them. So what we're doing is that the trust factor is a major one. Why should I trust you? Why should I believe you? Well, you know why they should trust you and believe you? Because you understand what they're going through. And the more that you talk about it and you can detail it and you can speak to the emotions of it and everything else, then they're like, this person's like reading my mind over here. They understand. They've been in my shoes. And so they will associate you with someone who they can trust, that knows everything that is needed to know about what the problem is. Now, once you get the deepest pain together, then we need to talk about what are their biggest objections. Every ideal client has a set of mental roadblocks that stops them from saying yes to coaching. And so what we do then on our websites, and when I say all of these things, literally in everything that you communicate, you should be thinking about these things. You should always be talking about what the problem is. And that you should also address every objection that you know that they have to working with a coach on the front end. So your website should have it. Your sales pages for your website should have it. Your social media, you should be constantly, not that you've got to talk about every one of them, but you make a video about it. You make a post about it. You keep hitting these things multiple times. They need to hear it 5, 10, 15, 25 times. Like they need to actually hear it and keep reinforcing it. That's what builds trust with you. They won't respond probably the first time, but the more that you keep talking about it, the more you just become this epic person in their life that really knows this problem and a solution really well. So, what are their biggest objections to working with a coach? If you know what they are, you've eliminated the no once you get to a sales process with them. And I would say consider this part of the sales process, even though you may not be haggling them to work with you. What stories are they telling themselves about why coaching won't work? You need to address that on the front end. What's their worst case scenario if they sign up and it doesn't work? You need to think about what these things are for your ideal client. And what is their worst case scenario if they do nothing? This is super important and it's something that you want to hit. If you do nothing, what's going to happen? What's going to be the result of that? Now, let me give you some examples of this. The business coach might say, their biggest objection is, what if I spend money on coaching and I still don't get clients? They get this fear of wasting money or they have a fear of failure. So, if I was a business coach, I would speak to that objection in my emails, in my social media posts, and on my website. If I was like a working mom coach, I barely have time to breathe. How am I supposed to fit in coaching? Well, they have an objection of, well, time's scarce, and I already have guilt anyway, much less guilt around prioritizing myself over my kids or other kinds of things. If it was a health coach, I don't have time to overhaul my entire lifestyle. Maybe it's fear of failure, maybe it's overwhelm. When you know what objections your clients are already thinking about, then you can bake responses into your messaging. So they're addressed before the sales conversation ever happens. Again, the thing that I always tell our coaches is that you should not be battling all of this stuff on a cold call from someone. Someone just sends you a message on Instagram and they're like, "I'm looking for a coach. How much do you cost?" Well, that just gave me a big thing to jump over, and I'm not going to play that game. I'm gonna be like, it sounds like you haven't built trust with me yet. And what I would say is, hey, follow some of the stuff that we're doing. Watch this little free mini course that I did over here. Watch some of my videos. Get on my email list so that I can nurture a relationship, because this person's not going to say yes. And what I'm going to do is that I'm not in scarcity. I'm not in a rush. I'm not worried about it. I trust the fact that if I speak to the problem that's keeping them up at night, if I talk about the pain that they are experiencing and I speak to their objections, then when we really do have a call or a conversation about them becoming a client, or maybe we don't even talk, maybe they just sign up on an email. They know me so well. I've spoken to every one of their concerns, and you know what I've done is I haven't just checked them off. I've marked them off. They are not an issue anymore because I've been smart enough to address those things. So, what does that look like? Well, instead of only handling objections in one on one conversations, you should be preemptively handling them in your content, your website, social media, emails, and all of those things. How can I call out their objections before they do? What success stories or testimonials do I have that can prove this objection wrong? Now, I know some of you are brand new to this thing, and so you may not have those yet, but you at least know how to speak to. How can I prove this objection wrong? How can I turn this objection into an opportunity to actually educate them? What's one small win that I can give them that builds trust? This is why you want to do free webinars. This is why you want to do some of these free, like very small courses or whatever. We call them courses, but you're talking about something that they could probably knock out within a week that only takes them maybe about 30 minutes for the entire week. 5 minutes a day or whatever. We want to give them a small win. We want them to feel good about the process. We want them to get some sort of a fix, a result, and we want them to feel good about us, not that this is going to take the rest of their life to actually solve or achieve this goal. Now, what's some examples of this? Think you can't afford coaching? Let's break that down. This handles cost objections by reframing coaching as an investment. If you've ever thought, I should be able to do this alone. Read this. This handles self-sufficiency objections by showing the power of coaching. Too busy to prioritize yourself. Here's why that's keeping you stuck. This handles time objections by showing that waiting won't make things easier. See, when you handle objections in your marketing, in your emails, and whatever content, wherever you're posting content, by the time you actually have a conversation that is actually a sales conversation, they already see coaching as the next logical step. And I would go on to say, some of you who want to do, if you're offering free coaching sessions, a complimentary coaching session, do not do that if you do not have all of this in place. You know why? Because you're wasting your time giving away a free coaching session when the objections should have already been checked off before you ever had that coaching session. The coaching session, if you do a complimentary session, it should be they are basically on the line to becoming a client, and you just proved that you could help them. It was just answering some last questions. But 99% of it should already be done so that when you get that person, you're not having to have a real sales conversation. You're basically like, sign here. That's where we want to bring people. I want you to go to a place where you never actually have to suffer through objections and suffer through no's. This is how you do it. Now, some of you who didn't take me seriously a while ago, you still have a chance to text slides to 833-258-7547 because you didn't think you were going to get anything good and you thought that you could pay attention to everything that I was saying. Well, now you can get those slides. You still have an opportunity to do it. And like I said, I always keep my promises to what I say. I never waste your time on Mentor Monday. So like that post and share it. Do it real quick. Let's be honest here. You just got something very valuable that could work and it'll help other people. So at least give me a second just by saying bam, hit like, and that way we're telling Facebook and YouTube that we did a good job. Thank you. I appreciate that. For those of you who have not gotten trained and certified, the best offer that I could really give you is our Jumpstart program. It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. When I tell you everything that's involved and including in it, you'll see how that is a steal because that's less than Starbucks. I'm having coffee tonight. That's less than Starbucks. $3.25 a day. 3-month minimum commitment. It includes training and certification and A to Z business development help, including a weekly group coaching call. So you guys can tell when I'm here on a Monday, the stuff that I know coaching, but I also understand business. In most schools, you're going to be trained by someone who might know coaching skills, but it doesn't mean that they've ever been successful in business. And they won't even talk about business because they don't know what to do to tell you to get clients because it's probably something they weren't really great at. And I just want you to know I'm confident enough to say that I've been great on both ends, both as a coach in a traditional coaching sense, but also online as well. The strategies that we implement actually work. It's why we're also the largest life coach training program in North America, because the stuff that we do actually works and we stay on the cutting edge of these things and we show you how to put these strategies to work for yourself. But Jumpstart includes several courses. One of those is Brand Camp because you're going to need help figuring out how do I choose a niche and how do I write a sales page and how do I put together a website that actually attracts clients, gets them to convert, gets them to opt into an email list. How do I write emails to get people to open them and move on them? How do I write a sales page that is high converting? How do I write a subject line on an email that would stir interest to get people to open it? All of this is covered in here, including search engine optimization. This course alone is worth thousands of dollars. And every one of our courses has multiple tools in it, but we also have a Wednesday group coaching call. So anything that you're working on inside of our courses, you can submit to the group and get feedback on it. Just in case you're like, I don't think that this is any good, or I'm not really sure, our group will help you figure it out and get clear on something that can really make you successful. But Brand Camp's not the only course that's in here. One of the things that I tell our coaches all the time is that you don't want to just be having a business that's built on one-on-one coaching. You need to think about coaching products. You need to think about multiple streams of income for your business. The coaching product launch blueprint works for business launches, group coaching, online courses, webinars, workshops, retreats. We take you all the way from brainstorming what you could possibly offer your ideal clients all the way up to launch. What are all those key pieces and all those steps? And again, any tool that you get out of here, you can get feedback on. Uh, all of this also includes our Life Coach Certification course. So our self-paced course is included in the price. The self-paced course alone, we could charge thousands of dollars for it. And if you paid for it outside of Jumpstart, it would be $195. What you can do in here with a 3-month minimum commitment and you can stay in Jumpstart as long as you want. You're talking about $97 for the first month out of pocket, $97 the second month, $97 the third month. You can cancel after the third month, or you can stay in because it is a steal. If somebody else was selling this course, it would be at minimum $10,000 to get this kind of top tier training and also business development help. No one puts it together. And I'm giving you a little bit of a hint on what you can expect when I'm here on Monday nights. You know, I never waste your time. Everything that I give you is gold, and I know that it'll actually work. There's a link to this program inside of the video, so you can enroll there, or you can go on our website. If you're like, Paul, I don't need the business development help, I'll just watch all your free videos. You can do that. But let's do it. Let's quit being procrastinators and let's get this done. You realize that a quarter of the year is already over with? You realize that? We're already halfway through March. And if you're going to like change your life and change the world, we need to like get on it. And you can get on it today. You can get enrolled in about 90 seconds and you can get this thing started and you can stop procrastinating and making it happen. Let me say hello to a couple of more people. Stephen, who's joining us from Hannibal, Missouri. Good to see you. Sam says, if you haven't taken the course, stop shopping and sign up with Paul. I looked at over 12 different programs. Thank you for that, Sam. I appreciate that. And Sam just finished his certification. So good. Awesome. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run it back. We're going to make this replay available in just the next few minutes. So if you missed the beginning portion of it, one thing that you can do is take the link that you're already watching and bring it back, to the beginning. Or we're just going to hit replay, and this video is going to replay about 10 times for the people who haven't seen it. But do me a huge favor, like this post and share it. It tells Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job, and get enrolled. That link is inside the description of this video. It'll take you 90 seconds to get enrolled, and then you will be in, and we'll do this thing together. Tomorrow night is Tuesday night life coach training. That's part of the Life Coach Certification course and part of Jumpstart. So you can get enrolled, and I will see you tomorrow night. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week, and take care.